Hello everyone, welcome to the War Show 2.0. My name is Ray. We are back again with another video. Alongside me to help cover the state of pro wrestling, unavailable try again, aka D. D, how's it going?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing today?
Not too bad. I did as far as do quick recaps from the past two pay-per-views. I know our schedules have
Yeah, I
conflicted
saw.
and whatnot, but I did want to go briefly into a couple things that I missed and also your thoughts on, we'll start off with Double or Nothing.
Sounds good. My thoughts on Double or Nothing was it was a middle of the road pay per view. If I can just be honest, I personally thought that with the people that you had on the card and the matches themselves, excuse me, that you would have, I guess, better wrestling. And unfortunately, it didn't live up to what I expected it to live up to. But overall, I will say that there were moments in the pay per view that did really popped me. I enjoyed quite a few of the matches, whether it be from the Four Pillars, which I told you I was looking forward to. I
Mm-hmm.
remember I was championing that match hard because I was looking forward to that one, and I thought that they performed well. The Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club, we knew that was going to be a banger, especially Anarchy in the Arena last year. Oh, and I went back and watched the match, and I forgot that Eddie Kingston was lighting people. He was ready to light
Yes.
people on fire in
Yes.
that last one. Yes.
There was that was last year's like most spot, I guess, spot of the moment. Him like walking down the ramp with I guess the
Gasoline.
gasoline tank, yeah, and
Let's
him
go
being all
just
bloody.
pour it
My
on
God,
everybody.
the new one.
Daniel Bryan looking at him like, or Brian Danielson looking at him like, what are you doing, bro?
He was gonna light both of them on fire, but yeah,
Hell yeah.
that was crazy. Although, had we done the spot from last year, combined it with this year with Matt Jackson super kicking Moxley, we may have started a fire. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
But it was
overall, I
definitely
agree with
good.
you. It was kind of, it was okay. That's essentially what I said about Double or Nothing. But for
Yeah.
sure, it ended strong, but it was a poor start. But
It started strong too. Not well.
with
If you want to take out the
the buy-in,
buy-in, and before we go in any further, I do have to say this about the buy-in. I I was actually scared for Jeff Hardy. I understand that his brother said, "Oh, that was a work. That wasn't a work." My man looked dazed and confused. He looked like he was about to break his neck trying to get up there. He already gives you one of the worst swantons in the world from what it looks like now. It looks like he just tried to cushion his fall with your body. But when the man can't even do a twist of fate, and then he tries to do a whisper in the wind, and it came crashing down. I wish him all the best. I don't want to see Jeff Hardy anymore. He's at that age where it's just like, this not for you anymore, bro. Just put matches together in the back. Help Darby Allin and those guys. You don't need to do this. You're making everybody look bad. And it's unfortunate because he's had a pretty decent career with bumps, but every time something like this happens, you look at it and there should never be, is he drunk, or is he doing this, or is he on drugs, is he in his right mind?
under
you
influence,
don't
yeah.
want to you don't want to have that thoughts when you're watching, but from his history, that's what it is. And when you see something like that, that's the first thing that comes to your mind. So from the buy-in, I try not to look at that, because as a person who grew up watching that, not, I shouldn't say grew up, but when I was in my early 20s, late teens, watching the Hardy Boys and whatnot, that wasn't what I saw from them. So I don't want to remember him like that. So I choose to think of the Battle Royal as the first match, which was great.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we're real quick before going to the battle royale, like Jeff Hardy
Yeah.
for sure has taken a lot of bad bumps, and hopefully, I think it may have been ring rust, but yeah, I didn't buy Matt Hardy's tale saying that it was the match was set up that way. It looked
No.
horrible. It looked like he hurt himself. He tried to go for a high spot. He tripped and fell. It just looked terrible. But let's
Yes.
just hope that's the worst. But I feel like this is not gonna be the last time we talk about Jeff Hardy. But yeah, moving on. You did bring up as far as battle royale.
Yeah, I thought the battle royal was good. I thought it was put together well. The ending surprised me. I know that some people didn't like it, but I thought that the whole, Swerve hanging on, and Orange Cassidy doing what Orange Cassidy does with his little lazy kick, and just knocking him off. I thought that was a great ending to it. We all pretty much knew. Well, I think that the both of us knew that Orange Cassidy was going to retain. So
Yeah.
I think that they did a good job with that match, especially with the people that they had in it. Couple of decent spots. Nothing, you know, like really crazy. But I thought that there was some really good
Oh,
spots in
you
that
didn't like the
match.
commander, the rope walk run, that where he eliminated himself? Or I'm sorry, he didn't go through the ropes and he did not eliminate himself. But
I'm not a fan of Commander doing all of that stuff. I like
okay,
I no I like him as a wrestler, But when like even with Vikingo, this thing like in a fight, you're not going to try to play up to all the people surrounding you in the crowd. So why are you going to do that in a wrestling match? You
I
know,
mean, yeah.
you doing all of these things in a wrestling match just gives your opponent time to get up and knock the hell out of you and either eliminate you, pin you, or whatever it is.
Hmm.
So it's hard for me to suspend my disbelief when I'm watching you do all of these different jumping jacks on the rope, and I'm supposed to believe that somebody's going to stand there and just allow you to do it instead of just kicking you or kicking the rope or doing something. So that's my only problem when it comes to like AAA or people in specific like Commander
Yeah.
Vikingo, even sometimes Kenny Omega, or anybody who really wants to basically how do you say it? They're choreographing their moves. I
Yeah.
know it's choreographed, but they're choreographing their move like when they go Drew McIntyre with the 1, 2, 3 or
Yeah.
sweet chin music. If I can hear the fact that the crowd is getting up and I know that this is what you do, I'm on the lookout for it. You
Hmm.
know. So that just bothers me. But other than that, I thought that the match was.
So the
I thought that the
highlights.
battle royal
So
was.
overall, the highlights for you were for sure the Blackjack Battle Royale, the Four Pillars match, the main event Anarchy in the Arena. Me, of course, was Jeff Jarrett in the tag team title.
I was
But
about to say, you don't leave that out because Aubrey eating that guitar was great.
that was it was definitely entertaining in a very.
She ate that
Oh,
guitar.
dude, I was
That
entertained
looked
with that
like it was
match.
awful.
And
That
so
guitar shot looked awful.
I mean, Mark also took a horrible guitar shot, but he sold that
Yeah.
beautifully. But I mean, so those are the high points. Any low points from Double or Nothing?
I mean, I know that some people are calling a couple of the matches low points. I wasn't as entertained with Wardlow and Christian Cage as other people were. I thought that it was a good match overall. I'm not gonna say it wasn't nothing that was mind blowing. It was something. It was basically what I expected from them. I didn't need to see Arn
Set.
Anderson biting off Luchasaurus's thumb. This is that you just. I'm sorry, I didn't need to see that. So that match was I thought was okay. Like I said, the Adam Cole and Chris Jericho with Sabu as the enforcer, which like I said, what the hell is 70-year-old Sabu gonna do out there? Oh, we know what he's gonna do. Go through a fucking table and leave. Anyway,
I
I
actually
thought
checked
that the
Sabu's age.
match.
He's actually 59, but he looks like he moves like he's 70.
He's 59.
Yes, dude. Yes.
What? No way,
Dude,
bro.
bro,
He
I was
can't
shocked
be
too.
59.
I was shocked too.
Oh shit. Oh wow. That man is not aging gracefully at all.
I mean, he did take some horrible matches, but I guess the other two,
Wow.
Meltzer did as far as getting on to the next couple matches. I'll briefly bring up. We do have new women's champions with Toni Storm going over Jamie Hayter. She did pull off the upset. She was the
Yeah.
underdog in that match, and also with Jade Cargo losing. She did pin Tyra Valkyrie, but Chris Statlander did come out to challenge her for a
Yeah.
Double or Nothing match, and she is now your new TBS champion. Any thoughts on those two?
Well, I'm gonna say with the Jamie Hayter thing, you kind of had we both had called that you were gonna win, but that Tony was gonna win, and I said I'm gonna be, I was gonna go with Jamie because we were basically picking the same thing. It wasn't
Yes.
any fun at that point. I was hoping that Jamie would win, but like you had said in that one, she had an injury. We just didn't know how bad it was. Obviously, it was bad enough that she couldn't maintain her title run. So I mean, I don't know what people expected of people. Not everybody is Cody Rhodes. Not everybody can wrestle with those major injuries and put on a 5-star match like he did with Seth and Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Those are very few and far between. So for people to shit on this match like they're doing it, I
Oh,
mean, it wasn't a
I
build.
assume you're referring to Meltzer, who gave it a star and a quarter out of 5.
Yeah, and I mean, but there's other people I'm quite sure who
Yeah, yeah.
said that they didn't like it. I'm not gonna go into people's opinions because that's their opinions. But I personally didn't think it was that bad. I thought that it was, especially with her having a bum arm, that it was okay. It was okay. Jade and Taya, I thought was good. I I wasn't. Then this is just me. I wasn't that happy with the way that they did the whole Statlander thing. I I get it because you want to keep Jade strong, and that's a way to keep her strong. Hey, I just wrestled a match against one of these tough opponents who's world traveled, and I beat her, and you just came out here and you beat me after I had a long match. Well, that was your stupid ass, whatchamacallit, mouthpiece over there, Mark Sterling. You would have just told him to
Smart
shut up.
Mark.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
have had that match. So I thought that it took away kind of from Statlander because she deserved to win the title, you know, in a nice back and forth match. You had confetti going down when she basically beat somebody up who had already fought.
Yeah, the other thing too. Also, we're leaving out here. It was the wrong time, the wrong place. Like it was on top of like we were kind of a low point for Double or Nothing was for sure that crowd, that Vegas crowd.
Oh yeah.
This horrible crowd, like compared to where it was
See,
years
but
ago.
what the funny part is when you look at people who say they were there,
They said it
who
was
were actually
loud.
there, I shouldn't say they say that they were there. They said it was loud and it was boisterous and people were really making noise. But I'm with you. The way it came off on TV, it looked awful. It
Yeah.
sounded awful. The crowds were dead.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chris Stadlander, I think her moment got a little bit stolen, but oddly enough, we both picked Jade to win. I did briefly bring up as far as who would what would be next for Jade. I kind of brought up Chris Stadlander, and I actually
You
asked
did.
that question to you. I was surprised that she came out, but I just really wish they would have done it somewhere else. But that's that. So going back to as far as to the four pillars, MJF did retain his title. He did as
Yeah.
far as do a headlock takedown pin on Darby Allin, which he beat him with the same move again. But what's next for him? What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I'm guessing that we're going to I I don't know. I'm wondering if they're going to have a somebody coming to challenge him after Forbidden Door.
I'm glad you brought that up because
Uh,
that's exactly what I was going to ask. Like, who do you? They
yeah,
did bring up, in as far as in the post conference or the media scrum, where MJF did, someone did ask him about as far as Forbidden Door. He pretty much dogged on it, but I'll briefly touch on it later on as far as going into a preview to Forbidden Door. So, but moving on
yeah.
to the one that really was the one that kind of stole the
Before you go,
show.
before you move on, I will say I think that a good person would be Adam Cole
I think for All Out in
because he can
Chicago in
take the
September,
loss.
yes. But for the short term, I think there will be someone from New Japan that
Oh yeah, yeah,
challenges
yeah. No,
him.
I'm
But
talking
yeah,
about as a legit contender to take the title from him. I think that Adam Cole should be the. Would he do it? Probably not, but
I
I can see Adam Cole being
I
that
agree
one to
with you.
challenge him.
I think Adam Cole is the one that they're going to probably propel next as far as the next opponent to feed to MJF, and I'll allude to as far as what I mean later on.
Yeah.
Moving on to the main event, we did have as far as the uh, Don Callis, or I should call him Dom Callis, with the amount of heat he's gotten, and also with the Takeshita turn during the main event at Anarchy the Arena when he attacked Kenny Omega that costed the title with Wheeler Yuta taking the pin. Were you surprised that you saw those two there?
No, 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 not at all. They've been part of this story the whole time. Don has that whole thing with Don being busted open was pretty. It was a kind of a prelude to him turning, and something that I thought about a while, and I didn't hear a lot of people mentioning it when it was coming up or during. They bled with the Blackpool Combat Club. They've always said, "I can't fight with you until you bleed with me."
Interesting. You're right.
Don Callis and Takeshita both bled from
From the
the
previous
Blackpool
Dynamites.
Combat
Yeah,
Club.
very true.
So, but they still haven't been said to be a part of the club. So I'm wondering where that's gonna go. Oh, and before we go, this is a little bit off topic. I thought that part when you said Dom, it made me think about it, where Max Caster said that uh he's getting cucked, that Buddy was getting cucked by a guy named
Dom,
Dominic
yeah.
was hilarious,
Yes.
bro.
Yeah,
That was one of his best raps I've ever heard him come up
that
with.
actually did gather a
He,
response from the crowd for sure. Even Rhea Ripley
yes,
as well. So
yes. So I just had to throw that in there because that was a great moment. Even though there was no build up or anything to the match, I thought that
mhm.
he killed that rap. It was funny as hell. But back to the Blackpool Combat Club match, I thought that overall it was good. There wasn't any surprises really. It was going to
Yeah,
be a big physical match. There was going to be a lot of bleeding and things like that. Wasn't surprised that Donna Takeshita actually was. I was expecting it.
yeah. I mean, we
It was
both
time for Donna to turn.
we pretty much hit the nail on the head on pretty much all the picks, with the exception of you going Contrarian,
Hmm.
with as far as going from Tony Storm to Jamie Hayter. But we essentially picked pretty much got everything right.
Yeah.
But other than that, as far as that, it was an okay card. I expect I did tell you as far as during the prediction show that my expectations were very low,
Yeah.
so I was somewhat amused on some of the matches. But yours were kind of like, I guess, neutral. But you were You were kind of
No,
like in
they,
the middle of the road as far as pay per
I
view.
was gonna say no. I thought they were a little bit higher than middle of the road. I thought that the card and the people who were actually going against each other, I thought that we would have better matches.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I thought that the card was gonna be as middle of the road as it was. Come on, Adam Cole, Chris Jericho,
Yeah.
FTR, Jay Lethal, and Jeff Jarrett, Wardlow, Christian, Tony Storm, Jamie Hayter, which had a banger the last
Yes.
time they fought.
Yes. Yeah,
So
that was
who
somewhat
would think
disappointing.
that they would, besides her arm, it would be like that? House of Black and the Acclaim. It was a decent match for what it was. It wasn't anything special, but I thought that it would be better considering that Anthony Bowens is a monster in the ring.
Oh,
You
I like
have
Bones. I
you
love
have
Bones.
yes, and Max Caster is good, but he's not Anthony Bowens. But then on the other side of the ring, you have Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black. They're wizards in the ring, and I'm not leaving out Brody King, but I just don't think he's on the level of Malachi and Buddy.
Yeah.
So you have really good people in the match. I thought that it would be a little bit better. The four pillars, I thought that was going to be good. That kind of lived up to my expectations in the Blackpool Combat Cup. But a couple of the other matches I really thought would be better. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I thought it would. They
I mean,
were.
honestly, I think what really hurt the card was the crowd. It was pretty much these people, like you said yourself, these people were literally sitting on their hands and not didn't really react. It was more of a WWE crowd where they pretty much popped to the entrances to some spots, and he just casually sat there and the reaction wasn't strong as far as from a usual AEW crowd. What I did say as far as in the prediction from the recap from last night was it felt like the WWE crowd and the AEW crowd swapped where the AEW crowd went to NXT and Night of Champions, and the WWE crowd went to AEW. It felt like that to me. But overall, I mean, you can get as far as my thoughts and or the recap from Night of Champions and
It was like a
Double or Nothing.
pandemic kind of crowd from when AEW had limited people in the stands and stuff like that scattered around. That's what it seemed like. Like you had wrestlers trying to cheer everybody on from the front seat, but then it was empty, so you couldn't really hear anything. Matter of fact, no, I feel that they were louder during the pandemic than they were at
Well,
Double or Nothing.
I'm glad you brought up the audience. So moving on to the next topic, there was as far as issues on pictures on Twitter regarding as far as the audience from the hard cam side, where there was a lot of empty seats. And I have a picture right now with Orange Cassidy holding the title, and it looked like a bunch of empty seats. And I think I showed you that picture.
Yeah.
The thing with that is though, WWE also does this. They really AEW doesn't sell tickets on the hard cam side. They usually reserve that for seat fillers or family members and so on and so forth. That's why there's so few people. The next slide I have shows the NXT crowd from the NXT Battleground from this past Saturday, where the hard cam section was completely tarped off. So WWE does the same thing too. So sadly though, the crowd that they had at Double or Nothing was over 10,000, but it felt like it was only maybe 100 in there. Anyway, moving on to as far as to moving forward. Pretty much recently after the scrum, they did as far as bring up that Bryan Danielson was actually helping Tony Khan with the AEW booking, specifically to Collision. And he actually had pretty much a hand in last Friday's Rampage. I don't know if anyone saw the matches from Rampage. Great matches they had as far as Vikingo, Dralistico, and Commander for the AAA Mega Championship. Zack Sabre Jr., Action Andrade, Emerald Sakurai and Willow Nightingale, and also Katsura Shibata versus Lee Moriarty. That was one of the best Rampages I've seen in a very long time. I don't know if you actually saw Rampage.
Yes, I didn't I text you or hit you up and say, bro, this is dope. This is dope. You need to watch this.
I think I was working at the time, but I did watch it. And I absolutely loved it. And if Bryan Danielson,
it was good.
Bryan Danielson, if he's this good at booking, I mean, him and Tony should be probably future booking a lot of the Collision shows that are coming up. But moving on as far as that's it for the news and notes or side stuff that was left behind from it. But Rampage was excellent. Shibata's awesome. I love Shibata. He's perfect for the Pure Championship. After
Moriarty was really good in it.
Oh, he was good too.
In that match. He's always good, but I'm glad that Lee Moriarty is starting to get the shine he deserves because the man is good in the ring.
Even Shibata was selling for him. So
yes, he's really good in the ring.
Well, I'm a fan of Shibata too, but Lee Moriarty looked very impressive in that match too. So hopefully,
Yes.
they do highlight him a little bit more and get him away from the
And
firm.
Willow,
Yeah,
Willow was
Willow looked
doing her
good.
thing with the
Willow,
title. I'm so happy for her.
we'll get to that as far as Willow. What I think may happen with Forbidden Door. But before we go to Forbidden Door, there is one large event coming up. We did bring up as far as AEW Collision. But before I get into that, I actually did want to get your thoughts on WWE. Anything from Night of Champions or Battleground that you want as far as put your 2 cents with?
Man, jeez. Now I'm not even gonna lie. They flip flop what my expectations were. I knew that the WWE pay per view was gonna be good, but god damn, was it good? Um, and I mean, you did have your people want to take away a couple of things from the Natalia match
Mm-hmm.
with Rhea. Yes, she was gonna get squashed. We all knew that. Why are people acting like it was a surprise that she was gonna get squashed? That was the whole purpose. We knew that was what that match was for. I loved the way that Oscar beat Bianca. It was surprising. It was the fact that Bianca lost was unexpected. I wasn't expecting this. I was like, why so close to WrestleMania? She just beat her. The whole putting the mist on her fingers, which let you know that it's not just oh, you got it in my eye and it blinded me. No, it burns. It must burn to do something adverse that she she put it on her fingers and put it in her eye, and it was such a creative way to do that ending. I was here for it. You already knew that Seth Rollins, AJ Styles was what I was waiting for. It was a great match.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Joker. Congrats to the Joker.
yes, he was that was a good match. I was expecting. I was happy for him. Ali and Gunther, they were better than I expected.
Yes,
I
I
didn't.
agree.
I said if they gave them some time that would be a good match, and boy, they did not disappoint. And Mustafa Ali looked great when he
Mm-hmm.
came out the tunnel.
Yeah, that crowd was
And
behind him. Yeah.
yes, he looked. But even he looked like a star. Like they don't often make Ali look like a star. When he came out of there with his garb on, he looked like a star. And
Well, there was someone that actually was a bigger star than him that fans fully supported.
who's that?
It was
Oh yeah,
Sami
but see,
Zayn.
I can only talk about that as a tag team because that in itself, like the
Amazing.
story. Like I'll tell you, I think I told you before. I thought that the match itself was an okay wrestling match. I didn't think that it was anything spectacular. It wasn't like they did anything. It wasn't an amazing technical feat or high spots. It was nothing like that. It was just an emotional story that was being told. So I think that
Yeah.
the story that was told was amazing. Jay and Jimmy finally, well, I should say more so Jimmy just saying, I've had enough. You can punk me, but you're not going to keep punking my brother. And finally kicking Roman, I think that and the looks on their faces, the whole
Yeah.
thing was just a great moment. And I was wrong when I said that Cody should have won at WrestleMania. They knew what, apparently they know what they're doing. We should start giving them the benefit of the doubt because this story would not be as good if Roman didn't have the title.
I mean,
So
I could debate you on that, but we probably go like an hour in that. But I
yeah,
mean, overall,
we can always have another
yeah.
show about that.
Night of Champions, Battleground,
Hold,
NXT was both
hold
great
on,
cards. Yeah.
hold on, no, because I did something that I have to get to, and I left this one to last for a reason. Who has a titanium fucking plate in a little sleeve? He didn't have on a cast. He had on a fucking sleeve. And I'm supposed to believe that this man has a titanium plate that you're going to allow him to use. And did you hear Michael Cole say, I think that Brock made a tactical error in breaking Cody's arm. Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious?
D is referring to the Cody and Brock match that we did at
Yes,
Jeddah,
Cody and Brock with his broken arm, and he's hitting Brock Lesnar with a broken arm. You're gonna tell me I had a broken leg and I banged it up against the wall one time and it hurt like a motherfucker. You trying to tell me he's not gonna be able to? He's not gonna feel any pain as he's bashing Brock Lesnar in the
that
head.
made no sense. No
Then
sense.
Brock Lesnar puts him in the Kimura. Now, mind you, I do understand people do pass out from pain. It does happen. We know this, but there's no way that Cody's sitting in that shit for 5 minutes.
Oh,
5 minutes. UFC fighters tap out in 30 seconds.
Yes.
This guy's gonna last 5 minutes before his body passes out. Are you serious?
I mean, you can
Are
make
you
the
serious?
argument that Cody did wrestle with a high pain tolerance, and then go on referencing that Hell in a Cell match between him and Seth Rollins with that torn pec. Um,
Okay, but Seth wasn't going out of his way to really hurt his torn pec. They were going out his way to protect his torn pec, and you could tell from the things that they were doing, where he with the placement that, but he was still going, and I'll give you that,
yeah,
bro. There's no way that he's going to do this with a broken arm. Okay, it's one thing to fight the whole match with a broken arm. This man has you in a Kimura lock. He broke the arm in the Kimura lock, so now he's applying the same pressure that he used to break the arm, and I use break in quotations. He's using the same pressure that he used to break the arm to now try to get you to submit, but you're just too man to submit. So your body, which most people's bodies can't take pain for as long as you, that level of pain, he can last. Not only did he last 5 minutes, remember, he was in it the first time.
yeah.
He was in it once before, he was trying to get to the ropes, couldn't get to the ropes, finally got to the ropes, hit Brock Lesnar with his arm again, got put back in the move. He's hitting these crossroads, but you can't tell me that delivering a crossroads on your fucking broken arm doesn't hurt. You're gonna get back in the Kimura and no.
I did
so
briefly
overall,
touch upon that. In the recap, I thought it was ridiculous.
Oh, it made no sense.
It did not make any sense.
No sense. And you're gonna. And my thing is, last time we saw Brock Lesnar go up against somebody with a broken arm was the Undertaker. What did he do to that cast? He ripped that shit off.
Yeah.
He completely ripped the cast off. Why wouldn't he do the same thing to Cody? I just don't get it. It didn't make any sense. Thank God that wasn't the last match, because if that was the last match, people would not have gone home happy, I don't think.
Okay.
But
yeah.
With that being said, I have to take it to one of my matches of the weekend. Well, two of them. Two matches of the weekend for me. One is a little obscure. I know a lot of people who listen to this might not have seen
exactly
it, but
which
if
one the
you
other
get
one
a
is.
chance to go and watch, Under Siege from Impact was a great pay-per-view. Anybody who has the opportunity to go see Under Siege, it came on the Friday before Night of Champions. Go take a look at that. PCO going for the title, challenging Steve Macklin, was a great match. I want to say Steve Macklin bled more than Jon Moxley. And in that one match, he might have bled more than Jon Moxley did his whole time in AEW. Jesus. There was a literal pool of blood on the floor that PCO slipped in, and they still went. And then to end the match, after the match was over, Bully Ray coming out and everybody fighting, and them putting Scott D'Amore through the burning table.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. I love the match.
I mean, it was pretty violent. Like
it was
one of the
so
most
good.
gruesome things I've ever seen was for sure Steve Macklin using the staple gun on PCO's lips. That was just, and then PCO pulling the staples with pliers. Just looked visually unbelievable. Just horrible, gruesome. If you're squeamish, approach that with caution. But if you want to see violence, that is definitely the match for you to watch.
Yes. And then the second one, well, if you want to see violence, this is also the match for you to watch. Ilya Dragunov and Dijak, because these two motherfuckers beat the shit out of each other. And I know I'm cursing more than usual, but this match was good. They beat each other from pillar to post. The last time I watched Ilya Dragunov have a match like that was with Gunther, and that match was amazing. This match was
brutal.
Very, very, very good. Very good. I would suggest that anybody who hasn't seen that match and has the opportunity to, Dijak versus Ilya Dragunov is one of those matches that you need to see.
Yeah,
not for blood or anything like that, because it's not a gory match. It's a hard hitting, as Sean Ross Sapp would say, two sirloin beef sons of bitches slapping beef. That's exactly what that match was. Just two hard-hitting dudes just beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah, there was some horrible, like there were some really, really like gruesome spots too, especially with Dijak beating, as far as Dragunov with like a human pinata with the candlestick. Just
oh my
brutal,
god,
brutal.
That whelp on his arm.
That
Dijak left on Ilya Dragunov was crazy. That was a gnarly bruise, bro.
Yeah, that definitely watch that if you want to watch some violence, or if you love blood or love brutality. Those two matches for definitely go out of your way and watch them. But
And
proceed
if you
with
like a
caution.
nice spear, if you do like a nice spear, go ahead and watch the whatchamacallit match as well. Go ahead and watch what was the last match? Mello
Oh, Braun
versus
Breaker.
Braun Breaker. When he speared Braun, when Braun speared him out the air, it was a thing of beauty.
That was
It was
impressive. Yeah, these two young
it,
athletes going at it, man.
yes, because remember I think I asked you which one was better, Shawn Michaels hitting Shelton Benjamin with that super kick or that one, and even you had to pause before you said Shawn Michaels and thought about it like,
Well,
that was pretty good.
I mean, Shelton literally jumped across the ring when
Yeah, that was
he ate
amazing.
that super kick, but still, Braun Breaker is a specimen, and also
Braun
Mello
Breaker
just
caught him and flipped him and
yeah.
slammed him in
He
one moment.
speared him
Oh
in
my
midair
god,
and tackled him into the ground. It was unbelievable. But Braun Breaker's
it
a
was
freak.
beautiful, bro. It was beautiful.
I hope we get the
That
Steiner
to me might have
2.0.
been the best pay per view.
Yeah, it was a really good pay per weekend overall. It was a great bunch of
Yeah.
wrestling, but I do want to, as far as bring up later on, I will reference Cody and Brock, and also as far as the NXT, what's going to happen. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I will bring this up later for future events. But moving on to the discussion of the day, which I'm pretty sure will go along, is CM Punk. He is back from suspension, from the brawl out, and from the injury. I do have as far as a meme here where I did post as far as people who love him, people who hate him, both shaking hands, constantly thinking about CM Punk. So the one thing I want as far as go with you, like he is back. Do fans care though? Is he a locker room cancer? Can he redeem himself? Or is he just a ticking time bomb? Like, what are your thoughts on him coming back?
If I'm being honest, as far as him being a locker room cancer, I could really care less. I'm being honest because, and the reason I say this is because everybody wants to gravitate to a side. Oh, you got who you for, the Bucks and the Elite, or you for CM Punk and Ace Steel? Look. I don't get anything from either one of them, so I don't care about anything except for good wrestling. Now, for my thoughts on it, as far as Brawl Out in itself, CM Punk sat in the he sat in the scrum. He said what he wanted to say. Did it? Nobody made him say anything. Nobody cut him off. And he said in that, if you have a problem with what I said, come see me. You remember that, right?
I do.
That and those were his words. So what did they do? They came and saw him.
Yeah. Referring to the Elite with
So,
Kenny Omega, Matt
yes,
Jackson,
still
and Nate
they
Jackson.
went and saw him, and they had what now is being
A
deemed brawl
conversation.
out. Yeah,
Yes.
it's being called brawl out or whatever they want to call, instead of the whole, instead of, which was a beautiful event, all out being is now being overshadowed with brawl out, which is whatever. I think that CM Punk was wrong in the fact that you don't go up there on stage next to your boss,
Tony Khan.
basically shit on your boss and say,
Yes.
I have a company to run, and run down the people who he's taken year and change or 2 years to make stars. You're If you have a problem with people, take it to that person. That's what an adult does, and according to them in the industry, that's what a man does. You take it to the person you have a problem with. If y'all need to scrap, you scrap and you keep it moving. If you
Yeah.
said come and see me, and then when they came to see you, you want to act like a bitch, then that was on you. But on the other hand, they might have come in there on some wildness. They might have came in there because I'm quite sure they were already mad. Testosterone is flowing. You've already disrespected us in the company, so everybody was mad. So at the end of the day, the Bucks got suspended, and
Kenny Omega got suspended.
Kenny Omega got suspended. Ace still got fired and rehired. Punk, I'm guessing he got suspended, but he was hurt. So how the hell do we really know? And
Yeah.
it happened. At this point, you're in a testosterone-filled environment in wrestling. That's what it is. Everybody's fighting to be the best. They want to be number one. Everybody wants to be the champion. They want to make money. People want to show their abilities and their craft. So you have all of these emotions running high. It happened. It's over. Everybody's coming back. So you might as well make that money that you can get. Because if this is a big story, if they don't make money off of it, then to me, they're idiots. And to finish off my point, the last thing I'll say about the whole CM Punk with the media scrum part is I've read the reports. I'm sure you have too, that he
Mm-hmm.
apologized in the back for what he said. About the company and how he ran the company down, because that's basically what he did. You ran the company down. That's signing your paychecks. You basically made them look like amateurs, asking questions like, "What have these guys ever done in the industry?" Well, most of them have main evented in the Tokyo Dome. Have you done that, sir? I don't think so. So I get what I completely understand everything, but like he said, the apology needs to be as loud as the offense.
Yeah.
You disrespected these people in the media scrum. You should apologize to these people in a media scrum or a forum, like you publicly embarrassed them. Let your apology be as public as the
Mm-hmm.
embarrassment. And that's how I feel about the CM Punk thing. Should he be back? Why not? The Bucks are back. Kenny Omega's back.
Yeah. I guess before I go into my thoughts, let me give some context as far as to what D's talking about. Real quick, it's just a full summary because this has already been beaten to death. But for those who are not aware, initially after the All Out pay per view in Chicago, when CM Punk won the title, he actually was injured during the Moxley match. He was not aware that he was injured, but you could tell that he took some sort of substance because his eyes were dilated, or looked like he was on something, which is why he was so brass as far as when he was speaking out during the media scrum. So as it goes, he does, as D say, if you have a problem with what I'm saying, come see me. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega did take him up on his offer. Uh, at the time, the Young Bucks, the Elite, they took Mega with them, who was actually one of the legal advisors for AEW, which was a smart thing on their end. They took her with them to CM Punk's locker room. An altercation occurred. CM Punk states that the Young Bucks apparently kicked down the door, hit their dog. CM Punk got upset. As far as the scrum took place, a chair was thrown at Nick Jackson and knocked out Nick Jackson. The dog was running around. Kenny Omega apparently tried to grab the dog. Ace Steel decided to bite Kenny Omega. There is some bite mark pictures out there in the internet if you look hard enough. And that was apparently occurred. And then from there, they were suspended the following Wednesday, and
If
that
you
is
don't
what
mind me
happened.
just adding
Sure.
real quick, that a lot of this is hearsay from what we've seen on the
Yes.
dirt sheets, because nobody, as far as I know, I don't know if you've heard anything else, they're not allowed to really speak
Correct.
on what has happened because of the legal ramifications of what they went through. So everything that we're speaking on is pure,
Speculation.
except for things like the bites or what CM Punk said, or them
Uh
going
huh.
back there. Those are true. CM Punk said that stuff because we heard him.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks and Kenny Omega went to his locker room because there was an altercation. All the rest of it is stuff that CM Punk and his people have said, and the Elite and their people have said. Do we know the truth of the matter? Not at all.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that, like, we
Yes.
definitely state that we don't know what truly happened. We're just going on hearsay,
Correct.
and
Right. 100%.
hearsay is that's what they put out there for us to consume as content.
And AEW has done a really, really good job as far as being tight-lipped on everything because
Yes.
he's already stated that he, for legal reasons, cannot speak on what took place. He's been asked about this. Even Ara Hawani, I believe, asked him about it, and Ara Hawani got irritated because he couldn't answer, but legally he couldn't. So
Yeah, no,
D is correct. They have been very
and,
tight-lipped, and that might have played a factor why CM Punk is actually coming back. Because
and one more thing too. We also forgot to mention that, yeah, CM Punk won the championship. He won the World Heavyweight Championship at that time, the AEW Championship. The Young Bucks and Omega, the Elite, also won the 6-man tag team titles on the same exact night. So from my perspective, when you have your biggest stars who won the title do that, there's a problem.
yeah, it's
Because they
unfortunate.
all got stripped.
Well,
Every one of them got stripped of their titles.
right. So that's as far as what occurred, but now he's coming back, and we will, as far as move on to what's happening. So at the moment, I will say, regardless, I've already given my opinion. I sided with more with the Elite. I don't believe the Elite were aggressors. I do believe CM Punk and ACL were the aggressors, but that's my opinion, and I'm going based off of hearsay. Who knows what happened? Only the men know, but they're not legally obligated to talk about it. That being said, CM Punk is back.
Mm-hmm.
AEW needs CM Punk, especially with the rating slump that they're in right now. Their booking has not been exactly been that great, but they have not hit 1 million views in quite some time now.
I still don't. I mean, is CM Punk great TV? Is he great to have on your roster? Of course. Do they need CM Punk? I don't think they need CM Punk. What they need to do is book the shows better.
I
I don't
guess.
think they need CM Punk. See, because all right, let's be real. Even if CM Punk, even if Brawl Out would not have happened, right? Let's just take that out the equation. The man would still have been on the shelf.
Yes, he would have been out, so he would have been stripped
So,
regardless. So
and that's the second time. He hasn't. He only had what, like 8 matches, 10 matches. It wasn't that many. Maybe at the most 15, 20 since he's been back.
right,
But he's been hurt twice. So if AEW is going to be as naive as to center the whole show around CM Punk, who's already proven one he got hurt, one he got hurt diving into the crowd, two he got hurt in a match with John Moxley. What
I thought it was a
what's to make you
Hangman.
think that? Oh, that was the Hangman
Yeah, I
match.
think it was like he tried to do the buckshot lariat and he may have fractured his foot.
Oh yeah, the second time he
Yeah,
fell. I forgot about when he fell. That's right. But what makes you think he's not going to get hurt again?
that's the
How
part
can
too, man. Yeah,
you can't plan a show about somebody who makes bad decisions like he did, because he discredited everything that you guys have done up to that point.
yeah,
Not just the wrestlers, but Tony himself, because that's Tony's company. You sat there and said that these guys have not done anything. You're trying to run a company. So right then and there, you already have a problem with, in my book, with me, because you're not going to run down what I've built from the ground up while you were sitting on your couch doing absolutely shit. You're not going
right,
to do that. They worked hard to build up AEW to where it was. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And then you disrespect the talent that have built it up. So I'm already looking at you sideways. Are you going to bring in money? Yes. Do you have a wealth of knowledge and experience? Yes. But I still have to look at you side eye because you're disrespectful. You're disrespectful to your coworkers, and you're disrespectful to the people, to the person in charge. Because let's be real, we would have never known that Hangman and him had beef if he hadn't come to the middle of the ring that time when Hangman was nowhere around and started it. You know, he
Yeah,
said what he had to say in the
Hangman
ring
did kind
that
of go into his business on his own when he referenced saying that the locker room did not like him. But however, the
that
one
was
thing,
part of the story.
yeah, the thing is though,
That
he
wasn't
kind of has created a divide in the locker room. I do have a picture with him and FTR kind of being together, and FTR is siding with CM Punk. But I
to me,
mean,
there's no
yeah,
sides. I'm sorry, there's no
I
sides. You all
right.
have to work together. Like regardless of whether you're on one brand or the other, at some point you're all gonna have to work together. You're all in the same company. So this whole, oh, I'm taking sides with this person, I'm taking sides with
Yeah,
that person, it means absolutely fucking nothing, because at some point you're all gonna have to work together.
right.
That's what the wrestling business is. So you can be on whoever side they fucking want to be. You might not like CM Punk, but you might have to work with him at some time. And what you gonna do? Tell Tony
They're gonna
no?
have to.
What you gonna do?
They're gonna have to show up
You
at
gonna
pay per
go and
views.
hurt him on purpose?
I
No,
mean,
you're gonna be a professional. You're gonna do your job.
well, no, we'll
So
move on to the next guy as far as the next slide here. He won't have to
yeah,
do it.
go
He'll probably just send Ace Steel to go bite Tony Khan. But
ahead.
like you brought up earlier, Ace Steel was fired for the bite incident. He was rehired.
Mhm.
Ace Steel currently is as far as with or was as far as some rumors of him being part of creative with CM Punk, or I guess CM Punk is using him to help him with creative ideas for his matches. I believe I've heard that he has to work remotely. He's not allowed to be at arenas. I don't know what you've heard from your sources,
Yeah, I've heard that too.
it's still like that was one of the holdups too. Like Collision was coming up, there was a bit of a snag that took place. That there was a holdup where Collision was presented as a new show by Turner or by Warner. CM Punk was in part of the graphics, but they took him out prior to the presentation, and that created quite a bit of a stir. But regardless, whatever issues they had has already been settled. Moving on as far as to with them and the Elite, I agree with you. These men are adults. If you're not working together, you're not doing what's best for business, like as Triple H
Hell
would
no.
say.
There's a lot of money out there too.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not
I
like
mean,
that this is a little bit of money. It's not like you work at a company. You guys are just making 40,000. You guys are making 100,000, millions of dollars. The company is making money. Come on, this is it's come on.
Right. So unfortunately, with the Elite, because of what's going on, basically what's happening here. The Collision show essentially, and D is gonna give me shit for this. The Collision show is essentially the CM Punk show. CM Punk does have, as far as specific wrestlers that he handpicked or preferred to be on the show. The Elite are working strictly on Dynamite, but they're gonna have to put their big boy pants on and work together, especially at pay-per-views. You just can't not talk to each other. Like eventually, you're gonna have to work something out and put on the best show. But if they're not able to work this out, I'm gonna pretty much point the booker like as the person at fault. This man failed to pretty much put out the best product possible, which is to me the best matchup possible for your All Out or All In would be the Elite versus CM Punk and FTR. Of course, we can talk about that in another episode, but hopefully this works out. Hopefully they get this done.
I don't
So,
see where they. The only reason it wouldn't work out is if the Elite leave because their contracts are up from everything
that's
that's
another
being
issue.
said, and if that's the case, then I just find it all it's stupid and childish. Yes, you had a fight. We all have fights.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody had a fight. You've had a fight. I've had a fight. I've won. I've lost. I mean, shit happens. Get over it. I've had a fight for no fucking money. You know what I'm saying? If I had a fight, and you're telling me, oh look, you and this guy, I know you guys had a fight, but I'm gonna give you $100,000 if you guys just put on this match. I don't even wrestle, and I'll put on a match.
I'll put this broom over it, brother.
Yeah,
But
these guys are grown. Come on.
Yeah.
There's too much money out here for you guys to make to say, oh, you know what? I have a problem with CM Punk. No, bro, look, you're the Elite. You're one of the top stars. You're gonna be on Collision. You're gonna be on Dynamite. CM Punk is gonna be on Dynamite at some points. Things are gonna happen. There's no way that you can run a company like that. And to me, if Tony Khan was like, look, Turner gave us this show. We've had these issues. This is great timing. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that CM Punk and his people are here, and the Elite and those people are here. That's never going to work. That is never, because you're always going to have problems. You're going to tell me that the Elite people aren't going to have problems with each other, or CM Punk's people are not going to have problems with each other. Not everybody is just going to be great all of a sudden because we split up the locker rooms. Nah, get out of here. That's not how life works. That's not how people work. So you can't just separate people and say, oh, now everything is going to be fine. Because even if you split up these people, right? If the booking is shitty, it's still shitty.
That's true. I mean, yeah. But that being said, like as far as the AEW Collision, it will be in Chicago on Saturday, June 17th. He was announced by Tony Khan that he would be there. They've essentially pretty much almost sold out the arena at the United Center, but he did kind of help tickets. I will get into more further as far as how much he's actually helped as far as the numbers for Collision. I'll get to that in just a second, but bring him up again as far as Ace Steel is as far as involved in the creative with CM Punk. That was noted by Dave Meltzer earlier as far as in a week or two. And of course, now we have, as far as I believe coming up this coming Wednesday, Tony Khan will announce the first main event for the Chicago show. Likely it's going to be, I think we know who it is. It's MJF. No, it's not MJF. It's likely going to be Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe will likely be the first person to feud with CM Punk, and I expect that to be in the announcement on Wednesday. Anyone specific that you want to see Tony Khan announce as far as the main event for Collision?
Oh, as far as the main event for Collision,
For the debut for Collision.
honestly, I mean, I'm not naive enough to say, oh no, that CM Punk isn't going to be the feature of the show. That much, I'm pretty sure he's going to be the feature person. Like he's going to be he's going to be the feature without being champion. You know, like how MJF and Roman Reigns is supposed to be the features now. No, CM Punk is going to be up there without a championship belt. This we know. So I'm quite sure he's going to factor in at some point, but maybe something with FTR.
Like a trios run?
No, I don't think that they're going to do a trios run.
Oh, you don't want to see Brody King just kill CM Punk?
I mean, see, that's not how I think would happen. I think that they would take the titles off of House of Black, and I'd be thoroughly pissed with that one.
I mean, but you know,
I don't have a main event, honestly. I don't know who, because I don't know who they would put on there. If you're going to do that, then I guess you would have to start a program with Samoa Joe and CM Punk.
I mean, they do have a history for sure, and it would be a great feud.
I'm not as interested in seeing that match as much as I love Samoa Joe.
Interesting.
And I only say that because you know how I feel about younger talent. I don't care about Samoa. Samoa Joe has had that fucking television title for how long? And I don't see what he's having these great matches as much as I love Samoa Joe. Yes, he just had that good match with he and Zack Sabre Jr. versus I think it Flash Morgan Webster?
Can't
No,
remember.
was it the King? I can't remember who it was. It was on Ring of Honor. Don't give me the line. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly who it was, but it was a decent match. I don't care about seeing Samoa Joe and CM Punk fight.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Why?
who would you like to see
Why?
him?
Who's CM Punk?
Yeah. Who would you like to see him feud with?
Uh, honestly, one of those names that people have thrown out there. I'd love to see Switchblade Jay White, and then put Switchblade over. I don't want to see CM Punk go over on younger talent. I think that's the only reason why I don't mind it being Samoa Joe is because at least CM Punk isn't going over on younger talent. Like Tony Khan wants to put the title on CM Punk, and I get it that the title Punk is great. He is a good wrestler. He's great on he's really good on the mic. Yeah, I will give him great. He's probably great on the mic. He's really good in the ring. I can see why you would want to put the title on him because he's a nostalgic name.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still old. CM Punk is in his 40s. You have guys on your roster who can do stuff and you can depend on. You don't know what's gonna happen with CM Punk. Like I said, he's been
He
hurt
could get
twice.
injured again.
It's
Yeah.
not, yeah, it's not like a Jericho situation where you put the title on Jericho and he was able to carry it and he was who he was. CM Punk isn't changing who he is. So his as much as I like CM Punk and I love the nostalgia trip of CM Punk, I'm over it. I don't care. Like everybody cares about whether CM Punk is coming back. I don't care. He came back. He had a great pop. Great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about CM Punk anymore. I want to see, Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara continue to elevate. I want to see Big Bill get a spot. I want to see Keith Lee get a run, Swerve get a run. I want to see Andrade come back and hold something. I want to see Miro come back. How can all of these people get to the top if you have people like CM Punk? And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that CM Punk's fault, but when you have people like that gatekeeping.
Yeah.
And like I enjoy seeing Kenny Omega as champion,
Mm-hmm.
or I enjoyed seeing Hangman, but I saw Punk as champion. I know what a Punk championship reign is because I saw it in WWE 10 years ago. I know. I don't want to see Samoa Joe with the championship. I don't want to see Jericho as a champion again. I've been there. I've done it. I've watched you have multiple reigns. That's like in WWE. I don't want to see AJ Styles with the title anymore. I've seen it a bunch. When do we start bringing in new guys? I'm sorry, that was a
No,
little bit of a rant.
you're fine, bro. Honestly, I'm glad you actually brought that up because I do want to move on to the next topic. Me personally, before I move on,
Yeah, because who do you want to see?
I do like Samoa Joe. I think that would be a good start for a feud. I can see it from your standpoint as far as you want to see younger talent go over, but you kind of want these established stars. You need eyeballs. They're right now slumping. But speaking of slumping, moving on to the next topic, the CM Punk effect. AEW Collision has, as far as announced tickets for the future venues, and I believe I sent you a picture of the venues that are coming up. Their next, as far as areas coming up in June and July, are in Canada. Currently, Chicago's doing very well. It likely will sell out. However, the same cannot be said for Canada. There has been a lot of poor Collision ticket sales in Canada. Toronto currently, this is from Wrestle Tickets from what I saw earlier.
Now, everybody, I haven't heard these. I just want to put that out there. He hasn't. This is a surprise to me. He wanted me to be totally in the dark when I hear these, so I'm hearing these for the first time right now.
Yes. So right now, Toronto, even though Forbidden Door has been pretty much almost a sellout, they've only sold less than 2,000 tickets, and that's for June 24th.
How much does it hold?
I believe it's around a 5 or 6K venue.
Oof.
Yeah. It gets better for Ontario. For Ontario's July 15 taping, only 700 tickets have been sold.
Whoa.
So my question here: Do we blame Punk? I have a theory.
No.
And I think it aligns more with what you were saying earlier. My theory is pretty much think about where they're at. I don't think Tony really thought this through. They're in Canada. These people are likely siding with Omega and the Elite, and they don't want to see CM Punk, and they hate CM Punk. I think that's probably what the issue is currently right now on the lack of ticket sales. But that's pretty pretty bad. Those as far as currently the ticket sales are going on right now. But I've heard Regina is pretty bad as well. We've yet to see as far as the July ticket sales, but I think in the States it'll be fine. But I think in CM, I think this was bad booking from Tony, or he didn't think this through, because I do believe when CM Punk is in Canada, they're gonna unmercifully boo this man. You are pretty much exposing your babyface to a hostile crowd. It's going to be pretty bad for him, I think, in that stretch. He may actually go into a heel run. We shall see. But yeah, those are currently as far as the ticket sales going on with Collision at the moment. They're not good.
I'm torn with that because I think that yes, I don't think that he specifically is why ticket sales are bad. I don't
He definitely
that,
hasn't
like
helped for sure.
not in Canada, and I will agree with you, but I
Yeah.
will say that the product itself. All right. I like wrestling.
Me too.
We know we talk all the time about wrestling, you and I, offline. Let's we call it spade a spade. We talk off time. Not everything. We do go over some stuff that we're going to talk about. A lot of the stuff that I do react to because that's what I like to do. But he and I talk. AEW has not been all that good.
No, not lately. No, it's been pretty lackluster.
The booking has not been great. It's not a lack of talent. It's not a lack of star power. CM Punk isn't gonna take you to the finish line for what you already have if your booking is bad. I don't. If it's not interesting, then why are people going to look at that? Look at the Double or Nothing card. We talked about how bad the build was to Double or Nothing. If the booking is that bad for Double or Nothing, why are people coming out to spend money on this on a Collision show where they have no idea who's even going to be on the roster?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I booking? So far, we know CM Punk, Miro, Thunder Rosa,
Andrade.
and probably Andrade.
Yeah.
Who else? That's
FTR
4
probably.
people. Okay.
They did
so
put the House of Black on the graphic too.
But then okay, check this out. So with you saying it that way, that means you have 3 single stars, a female star, a tag team, and a trios. The fuck are you doing? Why am I buying tickets? See, now with this, you're buying tickets sight unseen. You're going off of the strength of feeling that Tony's a good booker. This isn't like an all-in thing where they don't get to see, matches. You don't see stuff in London. This is their first time going to England, so they're gonna put on a big match. So all those people are gonna buy tickets. You have right here 3 shows in Canada. Those people are like, well, I mean, I don't know if I need to buy tickets to all of these shows. What you gonna put on? Who's gonna be there? Who's gonna be the champions? Are the championships coming to the show? Are they gonna be floating championships? What are you doing? Are you gonna have who else are you gonna have?
Yeah.
You gonna bring over some of the other people that I want to see, like the Blackpool Combat Club? Is the Elite gonna be here because you're in Canada? All of these questions are like you don't know, and frankly, because of the booking lately, in my opinion, why? Like if they were coming to my area, why am I buying a ticket to AEW right now? That would be my question. I'd rather see a house show.
Well, I'm glad you brought up house shows because lately, even the house shows in the States haven't been exactly hot either. I don't know if you saw as far as some of the pictures I sent you as well from the last shows. It's been pretty bad. They've been in a slump, so they need all the help they can get, which is why I referenced as far as CM Punk should help as far as that. I don't want it to be all gloom and doom for AEW. They've developed a lot of goodwill towards wrestling fans, especially those who are relapsed from WWE. But WWE, I think WWE has something to do with it as well. They are on fire. They're white hot right now, and that's bad for AEW.
See, I don't see it that way.
I think there's a crossover effect here because I believe some of the disgruntled WWE fans that went away from them went to AEW. Now, notice there's a decrease in AEW viewership now with WWE having increased viewership.
But also there's been an increase in good storylines in WWE and a decrease in good storylines in AEW.
I guess.
I mean, it's like to me, it's like a cause and effect more so where, like I keep saying, bad booking is going to drive people away. If all right, for me, WWE's crowds are mostly casual, where AEW crowds are mostly wrestling fans. So when you have wrestling fans, and your wrestling fans, you have WWE, you have New Japan, you have Ring of Honor, you have Impact, you have AAA, you have PWG, you have Deadlock, you have GCW,
MLW, GCW.
MLW. You have
Mhm.
all of these companies when it comes to wrestling fans who watch AEW. So if I have all of this wrestling that I can go and watch, and I can go and watch great matches, and I can go and watch some great storylines, why do I have to watch AEW? WWE's already going to have their fans.
Mhm.
Their fans are ingrained for the past 40, 50 years. They have their fan base. So even the casuals know what WWE is. You can see a WWE belt on Patrick Mahomes or these hockey teams
Yes.
or baseball teams when they so WWE has a visual presence. People are going to watch them. So when they start doing good and through word of mouth, people like, Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar there. This person's there. Hey, Roman Reigns and them is having a good match. Hey,
Mhm.
Kevin Owens. People are gonna start to watch. Whereas if you say, well, AEW is not that good. Well, I can go and watch
Mhm.
Impact, or I can go and watch Ring of Honor because it's still basically what you want. And even those people will go and say, you know what? Like, take a person like me. I love wrestling. I'm gonna watch wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't care what company it's for. And I tell you all the time, I'm watching this wrestling. You're like, oh shit, okay, you watching that? All right,
Mhm.
So it's like, I'm a watch that. So what incentive do I have to watch AEW? Why? Because I'm supposed to be an AEW fan? No, fuck that. I'm gonna watch who has the best wrestling.
Mhm.
Right now, WWE has good wrestling. If I'm being honest, Impact has better wrestling than AEW
Yikes.
as far as storylines and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
I don't fault
So
you for saying that because lately they've been kind of they've been missing more than hitting, to be honest.
yes.
But I do agree with you. I will say this though, um, it is kind of a low point, but I believe there
Oh yeah.
is a rebound that's going to happen, and that goes
Of
on
course.
to the next as far as slide here.
It's
The
ebbs
next,
and flows. Ebbs
oh
and
yeah,
flows. It's
absolutely.
always
Like
gonna be ebbs and flows in wrestling.
the next pay per view coming up for AEW is Forbidden Door. It's essentially a sellout for 13,000 in Toronto.
Of course.
That crowd
Of
is
course.
going to be unbelievable. That is something that I have high expectations going forth. But I before as far as moving to the Forbidden Door card,
Mm-hmm.
um, when at the end of Double or Nothing, there was as far as during Dynamite, they did as far as ask questions to Hangman Page what was the status of Kenny Omega, where was he? They said he went back home. Hangman replied by saying he is beat up. He didn't. He is out of the country. He didn't go back home. He's not in Canada. So that pretty much to me, I took it that he's likely in Japan. He wasn't at Dominion though, so he did as far as comment that he did have as far as friends that to even the odds against the Blackpool Combat Club. The first one that initially came to mind was Kota Ibushi. The other one was Okada. Of course, Okada will not be available, and I'll bring that up next. So, any thoughts as far as who you think that person might be?
I'm just gonna go with Kota Ibushi.
I mean, I
I
hope Kota
mean, there's
Ibushi
been
shows
so
up.
many teases over the years about either them fighting or them getting back together. This is the perfect time.
Oh yeah,
This is the perfect time to just make it happen, especially you're doing Forbidden Door. It doesn't get any better than this. I mean, honestly, and this is gonna sound terrible, but now that
Brian
Brian
Danielson.
Danielson ain't in the match, I'm just like, I
Well,
kind of want to see that match. I don't really give a fuck.
I
And
definitely
then
want
on
to
the
get.
other hand,
I definitely want to get your thoughts. I'll break it down the card real quick. It's just, but no,
yeah,
I guess Ibushi, as you're saying, is the one that you are
because I
suspecting
don't
is
see
it.
anybody else. I personally don't see anybody else, and because I don't know when they're gonna do this rematch. Because right now, when you announce
Anarchy.
two of the people in the matches are not going to be there,
I think
they
the evening
already
the
have stuff that's
odds.
gonna be done.
The evening odds, I think, is a reference to Blood and Guts. I think that's the 5-on-5 with
Probably.
BBC. I'm sorry, BCC,
Now
BCC,
who's done it?
and Takeshita versus the Elite with
Welcome to
Omega.
my
That's
world.
probably canon. I think the fifth person likely. I hope it's Ibushi because this guy is a beast. He
That
is
would
a
be dope.
monster.
Yeah.
He is. I mean, if you haven't seen his videos, there's this one video where he's on top of a car and he's rubbing a firework on or a candle candlestick on his chest. He's a maniac.
Mhm.
Uh huh.
No, I was laughing. I was
Yeah, no,
just laughing.
he's just Kodo is fantastic, and hopefully we do hear him. But before going on to that, as far as the Ibushi, I hope it is him. Moving on to as far as to the actual Forbidden card, first match that was announced after Dominion it was Will Ospreay versus Lance Archer. The winner would get a shot at the U.S. Heavyweight Championship from the as far as IWGP U.S. Heavyweight Championship. The winner was Will Ospreay. He will challenge Kenny Omega in Toronto, in Omega's country. The first time these guys wrestled was at Wrestle Kingdom back on January 4th of 2023. That match, Meltzer gave a star and a quarter out of 5 stars. The guy is just absolutely freaking biased, but that match was unbelievable. That was a very, very physical match. I had no idea Omega had that type of physicality that he could present, but that was fantastic match. Yeah, if you have not seen that, that was something you need to watch prior to going into the Forbidden Door match between, and I believe will be the main event, in my opinion. Any thoughts as far
anything
as that?
with Will Ospreay or Kenny Omega in it, you need to watch it. You will not be disappointed if you watch a match with that has Will Ospreay or Kenny Omega in it. That's just a guarantee.
Yeah, this is if I were to
those two men are
show
awesome.
Yeah, if I were to show like a casual fan or someone who's never watched wrestling, I would probably present them these two guys. They're just fantastic workers, and a lot of flips, a lot of finesse. They are graceful in-ring workers, a lot of acrobatics, but they are fantastic workers. Will Ospreay, I'm a fan of. I love Kenny Omega. I cannot wait to see this match. You want to make any early predictions between the two of them?
No.
Okay, so we'll say that for the next prediction.
I don't even know what kind of prediction, because I would think that they would give the title back to Will. I think that he should win the U.S. title, but
I don't think. Well, actually, I'll get to that. Like, as far as I will make a prediction, but that'll be for later. But
I'm sure we'll do a prediction show for
Forbidden Door for sure. Second match, this is for sure anti-flips and anti-finesse, is Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada. They both have already, as far as announced officially, this match. This is for sure probably gonna be the co-main event. I am actually looking more forward to this match. These guys are gonna beat the living shit out of each other. My God, the physicality is gonna be so good. Any thoughts on this matchup?
Yes, I have a question for you, Mr. Betting. So what's the over-under on Daniel Bryan making us think he has a concussion and he's dead in the ring? Because you know it's coming, and we're all gonna be sitting there like, oh my God, I hope he's not really hurt.
I mean, Okada does do a lot of like upper damage body, like the Rainmaker with the layer, and also the Tombstone.
He's gonna hit the Rainmaker. We're gonna think Daniel Bryan was expired.
I don't think Bryan's gonna do that. I think he's probably gonna work more of the physicality, the more of the kicks. I can see Bryan Danielson just absolutely just kicking the hell out of Okada in this match, but I can also see Okada just chopping the shit out of Bryan Danielson and exposing his chest red. But I think this will probably steal the show. Okada is selling his fantastic. Bryan Danielson, as far as in ring technicality, as far as physicality to this match, he'll bring. I'm pretty sure will bring the best out of Okada. These two have never faced each other. I am very interested to see how the match is laid out, but this will be a more physical match than what you're normally used to seeing in AEW, because the New Japan guys hit pretty damn hard. But the AEW guys, there's some guys in AEW can hit pretty damn hard too. So this is gonna be a great. If you have not seen the promo from Bryan Danielson, you gotta watch it, because they let him.
The one in the desert.
Oh yes, the one in the desert just dropping F-bombs to the Japanese people. But it's
what I love about when we get matches between a lot of the AEW stars and the New Japan stars is that a lot of the AEW stars are used to that style of wrestling, because a lot of them have either tangled before in a time where we haven't seen it or it hasn't been as publicized, or they've been there and they fought other people. So it's like the styles just mesh, because it's not like you have this WWE TV style, even though they do have their own, obviously their own TV style. Those matches seem to just be, we're putting on a show for the fans. TV be damned.
Oh yeah.
And I am, oh goodness gracious, I am looking for that. I'm looking forward to that match so much.
These are going to be non-canon matches, so like fancy booking's kind of out the door. I've heard rumors that the card is really good, but we only so far have these two matches, and I believe we may get more matches tomorrow, or possibly pushes for a new start for as far as other matches there may be added to the card. Hopefully they do this early, but they've already sold out the arena. Doesn't matter. I suspect they're going to probably put on the best card possible at the
Of
moment.
course.
So moving on as far as the next slide here. I do have as far as a graphic with MGF, and I think I sent you that if you want to see what MGF's quote was after the scrum regarding he was asked about Forbidden Door. He pretty much disrespected the Indies. Well, he pretty much disrespected New Japan overall,
Yes.
saying he didn't want to waste his time. He says he's not going to wrestle. He's clearly going to wrestle. Is there anyone that you think should challenge him from either New Japan or anywhere?
I don't know.
I have one guy.
I, See, my problem with it is with when it comes to MJF, you want to see him fight because he's a dickhead.
Yeah.
And the person that he's going to fight, you want to see them kick his ass because he's been a dickhead to that person that he's going to fight.
I have someone I think he's going to highly underestimate, and I feel like this guy's going to probably clobber him. The guy I have as far as is Tetsuya Naito. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but this guy is the opposite of MJF as far as the way he dresses, how he's kind of like the Japanese Orange Cassidy in some ways. But this guy is just hits hard. He damn near killed Ibushi one time when he tried to suplex him across the apron, but unfortunately Ibushi kind of landed on the side of the apron, almost broke his neck. But Naito would be an interesting check because he was not on Forbidden Door last year, and I know he was upset he wasn't. But I would love to see this matchup if it was him. If it was anybody else, I can't really think of anybody at the moment because New Japan is lacking in stars. I don't think it would be Tanahashi. It wouldn't make sense because he's kind of hurt. I don't know if it's Sanada.
If anything for Tanahashi, I would think more CM Punk because that's who weren't they supposed to fight last year?
They were.
And that CM Punk got hurt. So I can see Tanahashi, CM Punk more than I can Tanahashi versus anybody else. It seemed like they both wanted that match. So, no, Tanahashi also wanted Moxley, which he got last year because Punk got hurt. So I can definitely see, Punk going against Tanahashi.
I was gonna say probably the one guy is pushing to wrestle CM Punk is Kenta.
I don't see it.
I knew you were gonna start like saying like that. Yeah, I don't think CM Punk is interested in that either.
He's gonna make CM Punk go to sleep for real.
Yeah, Kenta has actually been dominating right now on the West Coast. He actually did win. I believe he beat Nick Wayne for the as far as title. I guess he's a champion. Nick Wayne's like a 16-year-old or 17-year-old phenomenon right now. Oh no, I think he's 15 or 16. I'm not sure. He did lose the title. Kenta,
he should be ready to come out. He should be almost ready to
debut in AEW. Yeah, in July.
I think his first match is going to be against Swerve.
Oh man, you know what's kind of interesting? I think Swerve is actually wrestling Orange Cassidy tomorrow for the title.
I've seen some things about that being pushed because I personally think that it's time for Orange Cassidy to lose. I would love if it's Swerve.
I do have.
I'm a mark for Swerve. So
I do have as far as a slide for him. So we'll get into a little bit more of that. But real quick, couple things I do want to bring up. Also for New Japan, for the Forbidden Door show for the crossover, the Owen Hart Cup does begin at Forbidden Door. Owen Hart will be. I believe they're going to start off as far as the first matches. They have yet to announce that. I assume they're going to announce something soon. I mean, I'm not going to go too much in detail. I really hope there's one specific wrestler I hope is invited. I don't think he will be, but I'll be a little disappointed, but not too surprised. Anyone do you think that should win the Owen Hart Cup?
No, see, I don't. It's hard for me to speak on the Owen Hart Cup only because I don't know how they view the Owen Hart Cup. Because to me, it should be something important, especially as hard as it was for anybody to get Martha Hart to, release his likeness and to allow them to use his name. I think that last year, I don't know whether it's because Adam Cole got hurt or they just didn't have plans. It was a dud.
It was.
And that's my opinion. I don't think that it really meant all of that much. And I know the person who you're thinking about, and like we discussed earlier, if they were to put him in there and have it as an emotional kind of thing where it made sense, I'm all for it. But if you're going to use the Owen Hart Cup and make it canon and be like, oh, kind of like the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and you're going to reference it as a major accomplishment, then it should be to somebody you're trying to elevate.
Yeah, the person
And
that D is saying I'm referring to is Jeff Jarrett, but since that
yeah,
was his best friend
I
for
didn't want to
like,
spoil,
yeah, that was the guy.
but
But yeah, not too
think
much into that. But I mean, as the press, I did hear the podcast with Jarrett talk about Owen Hart, and that was pretty tough to listen to. But he definitely gave more details. If you want to know about it from Jeff Jarrett's perspective, My World on Spotify, hosted by Conrad Thompson, is definitely worth to listen to. I know D said he might listen to it, but if you want to
yeah,
know more about it, the details of that night, if you can stomach it, definitely worth to listen to. But I would definitely root for Jeff Jarrett to win the cup. But I agree with D. I think it should be used to elevate younger talent. But moving on, because I don't want to dwell too much on that depressing
no
topic.
problem.
Um,
Hmm.
Owen Hart will be featured and added on to the Fight Forever game.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
so cool.
that's awesome. Like that, he's gonna be as far as included. I don't know if they're gonna do the voiceovers in there or if they're gonna use old clips, but I believe there's a career mode in there. So I'm curious to see how they do that. I don't know if they'll reference WWE in there, but he will be included in the game. Just want to throw that in as far as a short note. Moving on to
Yeah, I
the
hope he's not in any kind of story mode. Just let him be a character that you can use.
yeah, that
You
I
know,
guess that
don't
DLC
don't
character. Yeah,
disrespect him and make it and try to give him voice and or try to put his personality into words and shoehorn him into a story.
right.
His leave his memory intact and as a good thing, and let just people if people want to like fantasy book him in their own little,
You know, there's
they're
people
making
that
their
do
own
that.
little WWE world. Let them do that.
Yeah.
Don't. To me, I just don't. Just leave him be. Just put
Yeah.
him in the game and let us use him as a character.
Which,
Don't
which
give him any stories.
which I was bringing up. I don't know how far AEW would go into detail with him, but hopefully they just let him be as a usable character. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a good way to kind of remember him. But for those who um, did not get to see
Definitely.
him back then, but moving on to the next as far as event. The event I think that will be probably the highlight of the year, All in London and Wembley. I do have numbers. The All in AW All in event for Wembley currently right now, they are set up at 65,000 sold tickets. They are
Not
currently
bad.
set up as far as a capacity of 75,000. I would not be surprised if they go over 70,000 in that arena, but that is going to be
Stadium.
something for sure. Um, This is probably going to be the event of the year in my opinion with that UK crowd with 70 plus thousand. Are you kidding me? Maybe 80,000. Um,
Yeah, I was about to say they
any
might just open it up to 80,000 if they get really desperate.
We're still about 2.5 months away. I mean, there's still a lot of time left. But they
And
with
that's
no card, that's amazing.
yes, that's what's crazy. There are no matches being
Yeah,
advertised, and they've sold all of them tickets.
I will say though, going back to what I said, I was gonna make a prediction for Forbidden Door. I believe the best thing they can do here, because Will Ospreay is pretty much running his mouth right now. Currently, he's Canadian, so he's obviously going to lose the match. He's going to work the heel in that match in Canada. I think Omega will go over in the main event, unless it's Vince booking it. But I think Omega should go over in Forbidden Door as a non-canon story. And in a canon story, I believe they will likely rematch at All In London with the 70, 80,000 people supporting Will Ospreay to take the title off of Omega. If they are not able to do the FTR and CM Punk versus the Elite match in that as far
Well,
as
I don't think
stadium,
that's
but
happening this soon.
yeah, I mean maybe all out, we'll see,
Too
but
soon.
yeah,
Fresh wounds.
fresh, absolutely. But I think that's what's going to happen as far as um, my prediction there, and I
It's
hope
not a bad thought.
yeah. So I think that should be the main event for that event too. But anything for All In that you want to as far as add in or what you expect?
I mean, I can't expect anything. They haven't announced a match.
True.
I mean, and I understand that they're trying to get through this, but the problem with them with a lot of with them announcing all of these pay-per-views, especially so close together, is that you don't know what's canon. You don't know if All In is going to be canon. You don't know if they're going to use stuff from Forbidden Door. You don't know if they're going to use the Owen Cup. So without
Mm-hmm.
us really knowing how they view these different things, these events and these tournaments, it's hard to really say. You know what, this person would be good for that because you could say, hey, yeah, this person needs to be elevated by winning this or doing
Mm-hmm.
this, and they're like, well, no, that's just a prop, buddy. You that doesn't really mean anything to us. So it's
Yeah.
hard to formulate, and especially when you don't have a card. So it's like with Forbidden Door, you have two matches, and it's like, well, you have two matches. What else are you gonna try to do? You're getting kind of close to the
Right.
date. How do I know what I want to see? But I guess that's part of the wait and see what
Yeah.
happens. As they say, let it play out.
Yeah, and the reason I'm bringing up as far as these events coming up, this is kind of a make or break for AEW. Like this right now,
Thanks.
this they need to put on the best cards or best matches possible. I think they are going to deliver. At the end, as far as this month, I believe the following week after All In is All Out in Chicago. That will happen, but I believe they'll have enough momentum where they will sell enough tickets. Maybe we'll get that FTR CM Punk versus the Elite. If they're big boys, they'll put on that match. That would absolutely sell out that crowd. That would put up a lot of buys. I think it'll likely
Yeah.
happen, but we'll see. But the reason I bring this up, I think, as I said, I think they will turn the tide. I believe they will catch fire this summer. And the reason I bring that up is WWE kind of smelled that too, that there was blood in the water, which I don't know if you're aware of this, but on the same date of All in the UK, they also have SummerSlam in Detroit. Currently, as far as SummerSlam, they're running the same date. 40,000 tickets have been sold in Detroit, with 45,000 people being the maximum setup in WWE. Were you aware of that, by the way?
No.
Okay. Do you think that's bad that WWE set that up on the same date? Was that a good, smart thing, especially with Wembley being that high?
I look at it as, if I'm WWE, I don't really give a shit what you're doing. I'm
Yeah.
you, because I'm the big boy here. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, people always look at it as, should they run programs on the same day? If they're not directly going against each other at the same time, the fuck do I care what you
Yeah.
do? You know what I'm saying? And like the other, like, with last week with the AEW pay per view and and NXT being run at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares?
Yeah.
If your program is, if you can't beat NXT, you have bigger problems.
I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying? Like,
yeah. Tony did say that he doesn't mind as far as WWE trying to run on the same day as long as it's not being, what was the word he used? I don't know if you remember what he said. Um,
no,
like
I know that he
tactics or
doesn't want
something.
it at the same time.
Well, it's in the UK. All In will run in the UK. It will run early. By the time it ends,
Yeah, probably
SummerSlam
about
will
one
start.
o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
But the SummerSlam matches they have not announced. There is one match that is confirmed. Is Brock Lesnar versus Cody. Apparently, they're going to introduce some sort of stipulation that has not been used in years. Who knows what the hell that is? Maybe it's um a hooded match or something. I don't know if he's like, what is it, the
Well,
blindfold
I
match or a
can
night going match or something. I don't know.
I can say this. I can tell you what I've heard, that I
Okay,
think Brock Lesnar or somebody turned down. Cody has suggested. This is from
Sean Ross.
SRS. Yeah, somebody had. I think Cody suggested a dog collar match, and they were like, no.
Really?
So I don't. So I guess that's the stipulations that they're trying to go on. And like I said, that's SRS. He's very reliable. So
Oh
I
fuck it.
don't.
Hey man, bring back the Inferno match, brother.
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to do. But if I'm being honest, after that shit that we saw the other day, I don't really. I'm whatever, bro. Whatever y'all going to do, this is getting. Bro, he hit him in the head with a titanium plate in his fucking
Well,
arm, and he felt
regardless,
no pain. I don't. This is so
yeah.
stupid.
Although I will say, like, whether it's good or bad or what you're gonna watch, I'm watching both events, man. I
Oh,
will
of
say this
course.
on my end: I will highly consume a lot of alcohol that day, so I am gonna be sauced by the end of the day. So maybe I'll do a drunk recap at the end once these shows are over. But I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be a hell of a day of wrestling for sure, with All In and also SummerSlam on the same date. So I think it's
I
on
don't
a
even know.
Saturday too, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay,
I
I have to
didn't
double check it's on
look it up.
Saturday or Sunday, but
But
it
I'm
doesn't
not even
matter.
gonna lie to you. I had whole weekend. I'm only looking. There's one thing that I'm looking forward to, and that's before I know anything else, and that's what's gonna happen with Roman Reigns and them. I mean, that
Yeah,
storyline is just it's amazing at this point.
and that was the other thing too. I was going to get to as far as who. Oh yes, I forgot. I was going to bring this up. For SummerSlam, who is next for Roman? You said you're not too sure, right?
That's what I'm like with all of these things that are going on. It seems like you have so many people who could challenge for stuff, but who hasn't. All right, how can I pose? Who can you conceivably see beating Roman Reigns? and
I don't know
there ain't
about
too many people on
beating.
the roster.
Yeah.
Well, if he can't beat him, then why do I want to see him go against him?
I mean,
To
the
me, they're
guy.
supposed
Well, the guy I was gonna state with that I mean, because there's really no one on like I mean, can't be Cody, can't be Brock. Obviously, they're preoccupied. I don't know when Drew is coming back. I don't want to see that again, to be honest. The guy I was gonna as far as state was AJ Styles. I think they could put on a good match at SummerSlam. No one believes AJ Styles is
yeah,
gonna win, but
okay, yeah.
I would love to see that match.
That one I can get because at least AJ is credible.
Yes, correct. And then you
Like
have
if you put
also
him in the match, you could. It's not like you can say he doesn't have a shot. It's like no, that's AJ Styles. He always has a shot, bro. And then he has the OC where they have he has solo. So it's like I can see that. That would be a good one.
yeah.
But isn't he about to get into a feud with Grayson Waller? Grayson
I have
Waller.
no idea. I mean, we have Money in the Bank coming up too. Money in the Bank I didn't bring up, but I think Dominic is going to be in Money in the Bank, and I can't wait to see him win it. Apparently, Vince was backstage on Monday Night Raw, and he wanted to see if Dominic got enough heat, and my God, was he not disappointed? He was pretty happy from what I heard, based off what Meltzer and Brian Alvarez said. I don't know what you heard, but
I haven't seen anything about his heat towards Dominic's heat. I just hear a whole lot of people like it's funny because Dominic is just so polarizing because he's so divided. Like you're either going to like him or you're not. It's like there's no in between for that. It's like Dominic fucking sucks. Well, I think Dominic is pretty good. The crowd wants him to go away? Well, that sounds like pretty good heat to me. Like it's like Dominic is just he's so polarized. Like
he's got good heat. He has good heat.
What happened?
Yeah.
How did this happen? How did Dominic Mysterio become this? What is going on?
I think people were just jealous. He's hanging around Rhea Ripley. That's probably what it is.
When he was with his father, he was dog shit. Like he was bad.
I mean, but
like,
still,
I was saying that he should have been in NXT. He should have been in the Performance Center learning, and now he's still the same wrestler, but he's getting heat because people hate him because of this shit with Rhea. It's crazy.
I mean, if you must be if you have another your competition bring you up during a pay-per-view match, you must be doing something right.
I mean that let's be fair. If we're gonna call it space, that's only because Buddy and Rhea are a couple. If Buddy wasn't messing with Rhea, Dominic's name would not have been brought up. It was low hanging fruit because everybody knows there is really no secrets inside. They post pictures together. We know that they're together. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's low hanging fruit that you're gonna get everybody to say, "Oh." I mean, I don't think Dominic had much to do with that.
Still, I like Dominic Mysterio. I think he's gonna be a great future talent. But the guy has unbelievable. He's an absolute heat magnet. So very curious to see what they do with him this summer. But I suspect he may go for a title run soon.
I'll say this. We'll see how much of a heat magnet he is when he's no longer with Rhea. That's when we'll really see how much of a
I think if he turns on Rhea, he would be just nuclear heat.
I mean, I guess it would depend on the storyline, but we'll see. I mean, like I said, I turned the corner on Dominic. I actually find him entertaining on my screen. I don't think that he's the best wrestler in the world.
No.
But when he first came out, I was just like, get this motherfucker off my screen. Now when he comes out, I'm like, this would be interesting.
Yeah, he had go away heat with a lot of people, but when he turned heel and went into prison Dom, like that was.
Oh no, that's fantastic. When I started liking him.
Yeah,
I thought that prison Dom stuff was hilarious. He was in there for 15 minutes, came out with a teardrop tattoo. That was awesome, man. I was like, this is funny. This is funny.
Came out with a prison tattoo after 15 minutes, man. It was just fantastic. Just
awesome.
Great as far as segment.
When he came out at WrestleMania in the paddy wagon, and he was all handcuffed and stuff. That was hilarious.
That was a great match too. Great heat.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely, like fantastic.
And I'm not even a Rey Mysterio fan, if I'm being honest with you.
I'm okay on Rey.
I never saw him as a great champion. I like him in the ring, but I never saw him as a champion. He's one of those people when we were talking earlier. He doesn't need the championship to me.
Yeah,
he's just a good wrestler, and that's all I really want to see him in decent storylines as a good wrestler. I don't think that he wasn't anything special to me. Right. So I have no reason at all to like Dominic, but I kind of like when he comes out and he says his little quips. I think he's kind of funny. I thought that the interaction with Cody was funny. I thought him slapping Cody and running behind Rhea was funny. I thought it was hilarious. I thought Cody saying, "You went to prison and got a tattoo that looks worse than mine." Was fucking
Yeah,
funny.
dude, he did say that.
It was funny.
It
Like
was great.
Dominic,
Yeah.
he's playing his role, and I can appreciate that he's not trying to do too much. He's learning from like there's two people that there's no better teachers than Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Prince Devitt and Punishment Martinez are two of the best people you can learn from. So if he can't make it after being with them, then that's just on him.
The other third person too that I think is factoring in besides his father is Conan as well, because I think Conan is actually helping him as far as try to develop his character. But I mean, as you can tell, like me and D are right now, we love the product right now. The wrestling is really solid right now at the moment.
Yes.
AEW should rebound everywhere. It's great everywhere, so it's a good time definitely to watch wrestling.
Can I just add something?
Sure.
And this is for all of those people who did not watch it. AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation were pretty entertaining. Like, I know that a lot of people didn't watch they kind of stopped watching AEW because the product, like I said before, the product hasn't been great. But those little shows that they were putting on, that's why I have faith in Collision. They were pretty good. You will see good wrestling on those shows. Like perfect example is like WWE Raw this past Monday. The stories were okay, but the wrestling was good. With AEW lately, the wrestling hasn't even been all that great on TV. So, and when you couple that with the storylines, people leave.
Well, I'm glad you brought up TV because coming up right now in the short term, we do have as far as AEW Dynamite tomorrow night. I believe I did bring up as far as earlier, Orange Cassidy going up against Swerve Strickland for the International Championship. Man, I think this might be it right here, man. I think Orange Cassidy may actually end up dropping it. If not, it should be soon. Who knows when he's going to drop the belt, but this, I think tomorrow also they'll add in more to Forbidden Door as far as booking wise. I did bring up earlier as well. The other thing too I wanted to bring up as far as also that I did not bring up in the recap in the Pillars main event was the MJF win. I thought there was going to be more added to it with Jungle Boy, where me and D agreed that Jungle Boy has not been very good. They've right now paired him with Hook. They're calling him Jungle Hook or Hook Boy, whatever. I know Brian Alfred calls him Hook Boy. I believe this is probably where the turn will occur, but I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon. But I do believe a heel turn is coming for sure. The last thing I want to ask you, as far as this is kind of a debate that's been going on lately from Rampage. Shibata going against Lee Moriarty. He did win. Shibata. Daniel Garcia did come up at the end of Rampage to challenge him. Do you think Shibata will be at Forbidden Door? And who would he represent? Would he represent AEW or New Japan?
I think he would represent New Japan.
I think he's banned from New Japan because they wanted, when he was supposed to wrestle Zack Sabre Jr., they told him to make it just a grappling match and nothing else. And Shibata went into business for himself and had a regular match. So he has not been invited back since then. But AEW did bring him in when he debuted at Forbidden Door, and he's been the pure champion in RA, which is the perfect title for him, to be honest. I don't know if he would feud with Kenta. I would like to see that as far as payoff for the title, but I don't know if that would happen. But anyone specifically that you would you like to see?
Josh Woods.
Josh Woods. Wouldn't that be more for ROH though? Because there is an ROH pay-per-view coming up.
That's an ROH title.
I'm aware of that, but I'm talking about for like as far as the Forbidden Door.
I mean, I guess I don't know who he's representing. I didn't know about the thing with Zack Sabre Jr. and Shibata. So you telling me that is like news to me. I didn't know that he wasn't invited back. I didn't know he went into business for himself. That was something that I missed out on that I didn't know. So I assumed that he was fighting. He was going to be representing New Japan. I didn't know that. I don't know the story enough to speak on it. So I figured he was going to be representing them. I don't know who in New Japan because it's kind of like, if we don't want him in our company, why would we let one of our wrestlers fight against him for your company? So I don't know how it works. I don't know what kind of heat they have a relationship. The reason I said Josh Woods is because I thought that he was good. He was one of the last champion. If I'm not mistaken, he was the last champion before
Wait, didn't Wheeler Yuta beat Josh Woods?
That's who he beat for it.
Okay, yeah. And then Wheeler. Wait. Daniel Garcia.
And I mean, Josh Woods. Yeah, I mean, but this it's one of those titles where all it takes is a good game plan.
I guess you could put Shibata as representing New Japan and Daniel Garcia representing for AEW. That I
See,
mean,
that's who I thought it was gonna be.
yeah,
I think that's why he came out.
that would make sense. I
But
guess so.
I'm tired of seeing the same people fight for this title.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not tired of seeing Shibata. I'm not tired of seeing Daniel
No, I
Garcia.
mean, but we've seen Wheeler Yuta a bunch of times. We've
Yeah.
seen Daniel Garcia a bunch of times. We've seen I mean, you've had Josh Woods, and no, he hasn't actually come back. Mainly has
Yeah.
been those two. And I think that personally, I like give me a Josh Woods. I really would love to see Jonathan Gresham, if I'm being completely
I think he's kind of
100.
like in bad terms with AEW, isn't he?
No, they from what I understand, this is one of those things from against Fightful. They've talked and they've clarified all of the the misunderstandings, and that he and
Hmm.
Tony are back on. They're on good terms. So I would like to see him come back. I know Jordan Grace is a
Yeah,
free agent,
that's what I was gonna
so
bring up.
I
Yeah,
would like to
him.
see him come back. I don't want to see her in AEW though.
Yeah.
I want to see her stay in Impact because I'll say right now, Impact probably has the best women's division out.
Wow.
Yes,
Huh.
they have their women feel important. There are
Oh,
no
I was
other
about to say I don't
company,
know. Everybody might have something to say about it, like, as far as their division, but I don't know.
but they don't. But WWE doesn't make their women feel important.
Yeah. I
Like when,
mean, yeah.
you know that women in Impact main event pay-per-views, like they've gone for for the male titles. Like the women there are they get a
Yeah.
chance to showcase what they have, whether it be Deanna Purrazzo, whether it's Jordan Grace, Havoc, Trinity, Rosemary, Taya Valkyrie when she was there, you know,
Hmm.
Mickey James. They have great women who put on great matches. Trinity Fatu is there now.
Yeah.
So I mean, they take pride in their women's division where others don't. Like AEW, let's be real, they don't take that much pride in their women's division. WWE's
Um.
women's division is better than AEW's.
Well, now that you said it, like I'm thinking, like no one's really talking about any women's matches for Forbidden Door. But there's only one that makes sense in my opinion, which would be Willow Nightingale versus I guess Kyrie Singh or maybe Mercedes Monet, aka Sasha Banks. I believe I don't know who said I don't know if it was you who said that it wasn't a fracture, it was actually a sprain.
Oh no, I
So
sent you that
yeah,
thing. What they said was from New Japan's side, they believe it was a sprain without a break.
have they
From
confirmed that?
her side, well, that's the thing. It hasn't been confirmed as far as I know. But from Mercedes Monet's side, her people are saying it was a sprain, but it was too swollen to be able to tell whether it was a break.
Interesting. Maybe they're just
So
trying to play kayfabe here.
I don't. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't care. I'm happy that Willow's the champion. So
we'll see. We have a lot of things going up, so we covered a lot of ground here in the world of professional wrestling as far as the state of wrestling. We could definitely do. I would love to do this as far as a weekly thing. I don't think it will be a weekly thing. There's a lot of things that happen. There's of course time constraints with me and D. It is kind of hard to do these, but we love doing these for sure.
yeah,
But I definitely will get with D as far as for predictions. But that's it for now. We'll be back as far as for the Forbidden Door for the prediction show, possibly. D, you think you might be able to make that one? Okay,
yeah.
I
I
figured.
like I said, it's gonna be like the double or nothing one. I have no idea what's going on. So those will truly be crapshoot guesses.
Okay, yeah, Forbidden Door is definitely gonna be way harder to do. Those are definitely more toss ups sometimes. So if we have any DraftKings as far as predictions, maybe I'll do one with D because those are free to enter. There's no money involved, but we'll definitely use
Yeah, we
Vegas
could
odds
definitely
to
do
try
those
to
kind of things.
make as far as an educated guess who we think may win. But anyway, that's all for now. If you like what you heard, please like and subscribe as it helps us out and encourages us to do more content. D, thanks for helping out for as far as the State of Wrestling podcast.
Of course, man. Anytime.
All right.
Anytime.
But anyway, for D, my name is Ray. Thanks for listening. Say goodnight, D.
Bye bye, everyone.
All right. Later, everyone.